Mr. J. Christopher, protect the righteous with wisdom and strength.
What resources are out there that could maybe help them manage these costs, whether they be federal, government, local, internet-based websites? Where would you direct people that, again, don't have the resources to retain good counsel?
I mean, the short answer is, unfortunately, sometimes having a good lawyer, which means usually an expensive lawyer, is that's the game changer. I mean, that's really where it comes down. I mean, there's nobody that's really deep in the game in this field without one. We've got multiple outside law firms, and we spend buku bucks every year dealing with valid claims, dealing with flimsy claims. And unfortunately, sometimes there's people out there that are innocent, that genuinely believe that they were injured people, but they don't have an advocate. They can't afford one. We get pro se plaintiffs all the time, people that go to court, they find their way to court. They get federal copyright infringement claims filed against us, and they manage to work their way through the system, and they get their day in court too. So there is a lot of self-help.
Are they victorious? Those pro se?
Not against us, no. But,
Got it.
But sometimes the fight is the loss. I mean, if we spent $200,000 in attorney's fees just to get rid of a frivolous lawsuit, who really won? I mean, maybe we should have just given the guy $20,000 up front just to kind of get out of our hair, for the nuisance value. So there are some self-help options out there, but for the most part, you really do need to lawyer up. I mean, it's one of the themes that Lawrence touched on when we first started this, is that you really got to lawyer up. Whoever you are, you got to
find the money.
Yeah. I mean, they say, someone that represents himself as a fool for a client. I mean, and in this space in particular, where not everything is intuitive, like copyright law, trademark law is not as simple and straightforward as a lot of people think. People do think like, hey, you had an explosion with guns in your movie, and I had explosions with guns in my script, and you had a guy named John, and I had a guy named John, and in their mind, they genuinely believe they got what's fleshed out as a copyright lawsuit. They get themselves in a lot of trouble by, stepping on Darth Vader's cape, dragging us into court, incurring, losing, and then we get awarded our attorney's fees. And now not only did you lose, but now you owe us $150,000 in attorney's fees. We get this quite a bit, where we'll offer the people, say, look, just stand down. We won. You owe us $150,000 in attorney's fees. The court just issued that. We're willing to walk away from that if you're willing to walk away. But sometimes, folks don't want to. They don't back off. And if they had a good lawyer to kind of get them to back off of the ledge a little bit, they could save themselves a lot of grief. So in terms of specific resources, I don't know that I have any necessarily offhand. I mean, the internet is, I Google stuff. I'm a lawyer, and I still Google stuff. I call friends. I call people to bounce things off of. And hopefully, if you're out there, you're not out, you don't have an actual lawyer. Hopefully, you're not just out there in the wilderness literally by yourself. I mean, get a hold of somebody that knows more than you do and just start asking questions. I'm
curious, do you ever find yourself opposite a legal services lawyer in any of these claims?
No, like Lawrence was saying, at this level, at this point, you're not, you'll get a hack every now and then, someone that gets a client that he thinks either he doesn't understand his client's claim, or he thinks he can just get his name in the paper, or he thinks he can just, shake some money out of the big money tree. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, you're dealing with some of the best people in the business. It's high stakes. But like I said, we've dealt with a lot of people that represent themselves, some of whom genuinely feel like they've been, injured and infringed upon. Some of whom, hate to say it, but have had some mental issues and mental health issues. And you can tell you're in a lawsuit with somebody who's smart enough and bright enough to get into court and to jump through several hoops,
but not capable.
But you can't get them out quickly, and it costs a lot of money. So,
Lawrence, did you want to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, well, not every lawyer costs $1,000 an hour. I know of one or two out there that are less than that.
Okay.
But in all seriousness, I mean,
I know, right?
there are a lot of resources. I mean, one, I think doing your research on the internet, I can think of the Black Entertainment and Sports Lawyers Association. BESLA has
great organization.
Tons of lawyers in every discipline within the entertainment and sports industries.
And by the way, just a plug. So Lawrence is chairman of that too, right? Okay,
I am.
Yeah, so pull up on that. Chairman of all things entertainment, Lawrence Hinkle II. Here we go.
Well, on that piece, I love being involved in that organization, but there are lawyers involved in that organization from throughout the country in every discipline, and I'm sure that the per hour rate varies greatly within that organization.
Totally.
And if you go to some of the bar associations, Beverly Hills Bar Association, California Bar Association, they do, some of them do have pro bono programs. I mean, there are lawyers that dedicate a certain amount of their time each year in pro bono matters. So, if you beat the bushes enough and make enough phone calls and especially if you've got a real claim, at some point you can find somebody to help you. Like,
may not be Marty Singer, but you
definitely won't.
Well, no, you can't say definitely, because if you get a good claim for that man, and you don't have to give him $1, but if it's a good claim, whether you're Michael Jackson or Mike, nobody knows your last name, you may have Marty Singer on your team.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of considerations that go into whether or not someone takes on a client, and it's not always money.
Exactly, that's a great point. Yeah, sometimes it's just the shine. These guys, some of these lawyers just want to shine, man. And get their day in federal court or in the Supreme Court, right? 2 Live Crew or something like that. But one thing I'll add to that too is, I've always thought that law school clinics could be helpful. Maybe not with like litigation issues, like civil issues, but just kind of figuring out just basic, fundamental contract issues, copyright issues. These law clinics are like law schools that have a clinic program designed to serve the community in some of the more basic, rudimentary areas of legal issues, whether it's criminal, civil, or even do maybe probate or chancery. But anyway, but listen, brothers, thank you guys again for coming out and being part of the Brooklyn boardroom. Again, 2 gladiators in the room, heavyweight brothers that you want them on your side if you're going to be in court. And if anyone watching this can afford, to hire this man over here or can bench what this man could do in the gym, reach out. May have a new friend, may have a new partner. But thanks again for coming out to the Brooklyn boardroom. This has been fun. Definitely come back, And here we are. And find us on YouTube at Brooklyn Boardroom or on social media at BK Boardroom, Twitter or Instagram. But definitely subscribe, become a part of the community, and or download the episode on iTunes.